Hi, my name is Maria Five. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back to my channel if you're not so new. I'm here with a tea and a make and a book. So, the tea I have is Russian Earl Grey. I've had this before. I still have a little bit to go. You buy them in 50-gram bags and it actually does make a fair amount of tea. So this is the tea. And is it my favorite? No, it is not. I still love the double cream Earl Grey. That is so far my favorite Earl Grey tea, but there are a lot of them out there. So, you just got to experiment and try. And I have been doing that for mostly my whole life. I think the whole thing started actually when I was about 16, and my auntie, who is not really a blood auntie, but we used to call her auntie, sent this huge box of Murchie's tea. Murchie's is in Victoria, and they are tea merchants. And so there were, I don't know how many tea bags, 4 bags of each different kind of tea. And my parents liked their orange pekoe tea, and that was it. And so I drank the rest of the box. I mean, not at once, over time, but I got to experiment with an awful lot of different tea flavors and tea, the way you prepare the tea leaves, oolong tea versus Assam tea versus green tea. So yeah, I think that's probably, I mean, growing up with tea, of course, as well, every morning, a cup of tea. But other than that, I think that's really what started my idea that there's more than just orange pekoe out there. The make today I have is an iPad, and it just looks like so, and kind of a seahorse theme. And smells so good. I have lavender in here. This is chia seeds and lavender, and it is meant, if you are a back sleeper, you could sleep with this. And I have a girlfriend who is a back sleeper, and she always has something on her eyes. I'm a side sleeper, so this doesn't really work for me, but it's really great for meditation because it's weighted so that you feel that bit of grounding even when your mind is focusing on other things. And just to remove my glasses, you would simply place it on your eyes, close your eyes, and lean back. And if you were meditating or practicing yoga nidra, let's say, this is the thing. So I did give a class of yoga nidra not that long ago, and I made a whole bunch of these. I mean, not a whole bunch. Let's be honest here. I made 6 and passed them out to everybody in the class and gave a pretty great, I thought, other people said that too, gave a pretty great yoga nidra class. And yeah, it was these chia seeds that have been sitting on the counter for so long, and finally made them into my eye bags, eye pillows. So there we have this. It really does smell good. And that will lead us into the novel. So I just wanted to do a little bit of a recap first. So May was a really great month for me. 5 uploads, and each week a different book. But there was this theme that we saw kind of rising out of it that was actually not planned, but ended up being the way it was. We saw life behind bars in The River is Waiting. We saw life behind incredibly controlling parents in Paper Heart. We saw life behind a very traumatic experience that the protagonist never got over. It affected his whole life in All the Colors of the Dark. We saw life restricted under Muslim law in Dust Settles North. We see life with one spouse incarcerated for a crime he did not commit, and another semi-protagonist, the other person, main person in the novel, incarcerated falsely for a crime, again, she did not commit. And life behind a village of judgy and prejudiced people, and what that looks like. So the book I have for you today is This Story Might Save Your Life. It's by Tiffany Crum, 2026. And this book was given to me by someone I work with. And she's like, here, I picked this up, I read it, and I really enjoyed it, and I want your opinion. And I mean, I'd seen the book, of course, but that title just didn't appeal to me, and I never would have read it. And it is so good. So, so good. So I want to share some of that with you. So sometimes you meet people that just have that something. You just click. Yeah, they just work together. They're good together. And that is Joy Moore and Benny Abbott. They start off as friends. Benny goes away. Joy finds someone else and Xander, and they marry. And so there's that little bit of conflict, that little bit of tension. So Joy is a graphic designer. She has severe narcolepsy, hence the eye vague. Yeah, so she suffers from this quite dramatically all through high school, and they meet at a concert, and that's how things start. Anyway, he goes away, she meets someone else, and the three of them are sitting there, and Benny suggests they start a podcast because they do. They work so well together and feed off each other, and there's that repartee. So they record an episode, and it gets circled around a few well-knowns in Hollywood, and suddenly the episode goes viral, and so everybody's clamoring for more. So that's, I think, a pretty interesting scenario. So their whole plan is that they take something out of the news, and one person presents a situation. This is your situation. How do you get out of it? How do you survive? And so that's the name of the podcast. This story might save your life in case you yourself would find yourself in a similar situation. But it's the banter, it's the feeding off each other. And that, I think, is really what makes them so popular. So they are really the it podcast couple. And they have millions of fans and millions of listeners. And they're kind of a big deal. So we start with Benny Abbott showing up to record their podcast. The window is shattered and nobody is home. This is day 0. And the timeline moves one day at a time. And we have Benny and we have Joy, and the two not necessarily alternate, but generally alternate chapter to chapter. But the other part is Joy is working on a memoir joint with Benny. And so there's also excerpts of that give you the background story of their friendship and how they met, and Xander, and how the three of them, the four of them, because Benny gets married, interconnect and how their lives relate. So, but for all of that, it's a really, really easy story to follow. It's not 3 different timelines all over the place. It's actually really, to me, makes sense, is logical. I was never lost in the story. So part of that excerpt I'm going to read to you now, just to give you an idea of how this works. So this is Joy Moore, excerpt from Untitled Joint Memoir with Benny Abbott, 13 years ago. Things I didn't know about Los Angeles when I first moved here. Public transport sucks. There are as many struggling actors as they say. Name dropping is weirdly common. There is far more creativity per capita than the average city. There is far more beauty per capita than the average city. You can make over $200,000 a year and still not be able to afford a home. Graffiti is ubiquitous, as are hairy palm trees, which tend to drop their fronds whenever it's windy. It's often windy. Traffic is as bad as everyone says. Concerts at the Hollywood Bowl are magical, and the symphonies at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. You can make over $300,000 a year and still not be able to afford a home. If you don't live near the beach, summers can be brutally hot. The Pacific Coast is glorious. It rarely rains. People actually like that it rarely rains. When the skies do open, it opens biblically to mudslides, floods, and heroic dog rescues in the Los Angeles River. Also, accidents. Angelenos can't drive in the rain to save their lives. Streets are frequently blocked off for filming. Street parking is a nightmare. Cars are status symbols. People are excited to talk about politics. Trees lose their leaves in December and bloom in January. There are only a few hiking trails with adequate shade. You can make over $400,000 a year and still not be able to afford a home. Unhealthy air quality days occur frequently. Because of the particulate matter causing said air, sunsets are spectacular. Exercise is best done publicly. Yoga in parks, weight training in gyms with wall-to-wall windows, bike rides on beaches, runs on dusty paths. Street tacos are scrumptious. The West Hollywood Halloween parade is second to none. Earthquakes are rare. Fire season is terrifying. Celebrity sightings are common. LAX is a disaster. And if you go to a concert alone, you might end up meeting your soulmate. That's just a little excerpt, but I hope I've piqued you a little bit with that. The writing is just exquisite. On day 3, I think they find Xander, Joy's husband's. They find Xander's body. He's dead. And sadly, there's no love lost between Benny, and he ends up the prime suspect. Benny's just got to keep one step ahead of everyone in order to save his own life and hopefully Joy's. This novel's really similar to Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, a podcast I did on the 6th of March. I will link that below. Amy Tintera also comments on This Story Might Save Your Life. So you know there's going to be some common influences. It was so good. Thank you, Sylvia. What a great novel this was. And if you pick it up and you enjoy it, please let me know in the comments below. And again, we will see you in 2 weeks' time. The 1 week thing is over. So thank you so much for joining me. Take care.